So if you've been involved with the stock market for a while, then you know that it takes a good understanding not only of the markets, but of human emotion as well. However, that's kind of easier said than done, especially when you think about things like work, family, school, and all the other responsibilities that we have. Finding consistent candidates to trade can be extremely challenging. In this video, I'm going to break down some of the tips and strategies to help you find the next big move no matter what season of life you're in. Coming right up.
Hey, what's up? Rob here with Wealth Builders HQ, where we bring you the best tips and tools for building your skills to develop wealth for today and well into the future. And on this channel, we do a lot of stock market analysis for long and short term, as well as recaps just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, one of the questions we get most from our Wealth Builders HQ community is, how do you look at where the stock market has been and determine where it is headed? So we have actually put together an entire free live training workshop that is all about finding the best candidates for today's market. And there's a section for the community, you, to bring your stocks to the event and have me analyze them for you in real time. This free workshop is called Power Hour, and it's taught every Monday live online at noon Eastern Time. I'll leave a link to it below in the show notes.
So let's start the week off with some economic events. So we've got core retail sales and retail sales, really the same report, both coming up on Monday at 8:30 a.m. And then the FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday. Very highly anticipated report coming out. Why? Because of the absolute decimation, the destruction that happened in the price of the market this week. Markets being down 3% and 4% respectively across the board. Things like oil getting hit, S&P Energy getting hit, every one of the majors getting hit. I mean, for worst day in tech in 7 years. Worst day in the NASDAQ since the Brexit. Worst day in the Dow for the last 8 months, right? And it's all focused on rising interest rates too quickly. They don't like the way the Fed's talking right now. So we'll see how that goes. In other words, big report. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming earnings. Now, there are more, guys. We're getting into an earnings season. Alcoa, the ticker symbol AA, is the unofficial start of earnings season. That's happening this week. So you've got Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, United Healthcare, Johnson & Johnson, Nucor, Abbott. There's a lot. Philip Morris, a lot of major companies coming out this week. These are just a sampling of some of the big ones. A lot of banks are getting announcements out there right now. We had a bunch last week, if you remember, and now this week all over again is our next grouping. So let's take a look at a market review of what was hot last week, movers and shakers. So the S&P 500 last week, if we go to a weekly chart, there we go. The S&P 500 had a 118-point drop last week. Yowzer. Now, it was down much further than it closed. It was down here at 27.15. It closed at 67. So we actually had another 50 points, 52 points lower we had been during the week, which would have put it at about 170 points to the downside for the low. Now we look at Amazon, they're down 100 points, but once again, they were down much lower. Earnings coming out, good or bad, don't know. It all depends how much it plays into what's happening with Amazon's recent demise in price. Then we had Boeing, they're down about $26 for the week. Booking, which is Priceline, is down $96 for the week, and Google is down about $47 for the week. So big numbers, big numbers for companies that are out there. Let's look at some that are hot for this week, guys. So let me just get rid of those. We've got Apple, AAPL. Let's get a little more time in there. Let me just take those bars off of there. These are for one of the analysis techniques that we go through called power option plays. We use those bars to show where the last update we did, how things are looking for us, and so forth. And this wasn't a bad week. I mean, this last week, I just did the update. So from our update on Wednesday to the update on Friday, we were up about $16,000, almost $17,000. We're over $1 million of profit from January 1 until today. So overall, not too shabby. Our goal is 1.2 million. We're at about $1.6 million now, 1,062,000 now, and we're on a good path, good track to where we want to be. So we look at Apple. Apple is the only thing on my entire list this week that showed bullish, right? And they're barely, they're really not even bullish, actually. They're not. They're a bullish neutral. So they're better, but they're not bullish. That's for sure. But the only thing that's got any recovery, they were up 766. If we look at a weekly chart on Apple, they only lost $2, and they had this doji pattern setting up in there. On a weekly, they're above the 8, which keeps them in a bullish bias. From there, we go to Alibaba. Right? Alibaba pulled up nicely to the 8. If we get that continuation reversal, Katie bar the doors, baby. There's some strong room to the downside for them. Same thing on Baidu. Closed just like Alibaba did, right at the 8 moving average. Earnings coming up on these guys, right? On both of them. The other one is a little bit harder to see. It's over here. Right? And so you can see here's Baba earnings. Right? Then we look at Facebook. They've got earnings coming up, but once again, they pushed off that 8 and they failed. So the opportunity to the downside is vast. There's a nice potential move there. PANW has no earnings coming out, pressed right into resistance. If the market rolls over, guys, it is all bear all day long. Keep your eye open for volatility in our options. That is the one major concern we've got to have right now because our VIX, the fear factor, is very high. So once again, these are some of what's going on right now, guys. Hopefully these will be helpful for you, that you can use them this week for some of your own trades.
I hope this update was helpful, and I would love to hear your feedback in the comments below. And actually, if you want more insights like this, you could just go over to wealthbuildershq.com. I'll post a link to it below. Now, the question of the day is, what stocks are you going to be looking at for next week? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section below. So thank you for checking out this video. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so yet. And until next time, Wealth Builders HQ is bringing you the best tips and tools for building sustainable wealth in the stock market. Keep crushing it, and we'll talk soon. Take care, folks.